us what the dickens is going on here, huh?
And hey, two people in the same little area that have both sued Disney.
Oh my goodness.
What a concept.
I know.
It's like the least litigious person here. I know.
Oh gosh, I feel like when you take somebody to court, which I don't think I ever have.
Me either.
I feel like it's like so embarrassing in a way because it's like we couldn't figure it out in a respectful manner, that we had to get somebody else involved. And that sucks because it didn't have to be that way. I mean, sometimes I just kind of want to I want to sit down with them. You know, I want to sit down with Bob Iger and be like, what is the problem here? Did you read my story? Do you understand what's going on? Do you understand just this individual case? And do we understand like what happened in the last 4 years that was completely brutal? And I don't understand the mentality here. Like at these board meetings, is it just about we gotta crush the ones that were actually asking the right questions? We have to put our thumb on them and we have to crush them because if we allow one of them to escape, then, the rest of them will come.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, can you imagine if they did the right thing in my case, how differently their business would start to look?
Yes.
But they're not.
It's so short-sighted.
They're not going to do that. They're going to give me hell, and I know that.
Well, that's because they've been able to get away with that forever.
Yeah.
And they're not used to people taking a stand.
Yeah.
I own all this shit now. I own the Death Star. I own Tatooine. It's all mine.
You own Marvel, Marvel Comics, Marvel Studios, the MCU, and Fox Now too, biatch.
Oh, that does it.
Bitch. Well, hello, kiddies. This is your friendly neighborhood watchman coming to you today to talk about Gina Carano's wrongful termination lawsuit against Walt Disney. Setting aside politics for a moment, we talk about politics, man.
But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
We'll be reading from an article from Bounding Into Comics with the byline by Spencer Backley with the heading, Judge Rejects Disney's Motion to Dismiss Gina Carano's Wrongful Termination Lawsuit. Says House of Mouse failed to set forth an impenetrable defense under the First Amendment. There's a lovely Gina when she was in The Mandalorian. She's thick. Damn, boy, she's thick!
Daddy, chill.
So, without further ado, let's get into the shit.
Without further ado, let's do this shit.
In a major win for the former Star Wars actress's legal action against the House of Mouse, the judge overseeing the case has fully denied Disney's previous motion to dismiss the wrongful termination lawsuit filed against them by Gina Carano. Oh, woke Mickey look sad. As previously reported in February, Carano, with financial assistance from Tesla CEO Elon Musk,
Hey Bob, if you're in the audience,
filed suit against Disney, accusing them of not only unlawfully terminating her from her role as Cara Dune in The Mandalorian due to nothing more than the company's overall disagreement with her personal political opinion, but also treating her male co-workers, namely Pedro Pascal, less harshly in regard to their political speech and defaming her in the eyes of the public. Brother, ain't that the truth? Pedro said a lot of crap against Trump and labeling Trump supporters.
but I digress.
Disney's harassment, retaliation, and termination of plaintiff and refusal to hire her for other promised roles were intended to cause injury to Carano, amounted to despicable conduct undertaken with willful and conscious disregard of plaintiff's rights under California law, and amounted to despicable conduct that subjected Carano to cruel and unjust hardship in conscious disregard of her rights, thus supporting punitive damages due to nothing more than the company's overall disagreement with her personal public opinion, but in doing so also defaming her in the eyes of the public, argued the actress's legal team. Promise Rose. Yeah, I do seem to recall now there was talk about a Cara Dune spin-off series with Gina. To continue, In response, Disney sought to have the case dismissed on the grounds that, in their woke opinion, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution provides them the right to disassociate its own artistic
I'm one of Fairy Godmother's apprentices. I'm here to shop you around and make all your selections for the day.
message from Carano's outspoken political beliefs. Disney has a constitutional right not to associate its artistic expression with Carano's speech, such that the First Amendment provides a complete defense to Carano's claims. Said the House of Mouse. Why are you in love with that phrase? House of Mouse.
Stay on target.
Says woke Disney. Quote, Carano's claims are all barred by the First Amendment, as the Supreme Court held in Hurley versus Irish American Gay, Lesbian, and Bisexual Group of Boston. Say that multiple times when you're drunk on Guinness and Bailey's Irish Cream liqueur. Just saying. The First Amendment embodies a core principle of speakers' autonomy that bars the state from dictating to expressive enterprises what to say, how to say it, and whom to say it through, as the court further held in Boy Scouts of America versus Dale. That principle means that a state cannot force an employer engage in speech to speak to an employee whose own views or public profile could compromise the employer's own message, even if the employee does not express her views on the job. To this end, Disney then affirmed, quote, state law can protect employee political activity without violating the employer's free speech right. This quotation being cited from a 2012 paper by UCLA law professor and constitutional attorney Eugene Volokh. Quote, what state law cannot do, however, is force entities that do create speech products to speak to writers or singers or actors whose own speech and public profile could, in the employer's view, compromise the employer's ability to express itself in its own chosen manner, they declared. Carano's suit contravenes that rule. It is an impermissible effort to invoke state power to override a private entity's decision about what to say in its own art and how to say it. The complaint should be dismissed, end quote. However, it turns out Disney's argument ultimately fell flat, as their petition to dismiss has now been fully denied, as ruled by Los Angeles District Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett on July 24. Quote, where an organization claims protection under the First Amendment expressive associational right, a court must determine whether the group engages in expressive association, end quote. Here, although Disney has indisputably engaged in expressive activity, including but certainly not limited to producing and disseminating The Mandalorian, they have failed to establish that they engage in expressive association. Furthermore, at this stage in the litigation, the court cannot conclude, as defendants urge it to, that Carano's continued employment by defendants would inhibit or intrude upon defendants' rights to expressive association. Quote, the defendants are not members-only, non-profit organizations, she continued. Instead, defendants are for-profit corporations who, as relevant to this lawsuit, employ actors such as plaintiff, as well as administration staff to create television series and films, end quote. Defendants have not identified any evidence in a complaint or otherwise to substantiate a claim that they employ public-facing actors for the purpose of promoting the values of respect, decency, integrity, or inclusion, said the Honorable Judge Garrett. Accordingly, defendants' invocation of the supposedly detrimental effects of plaintiffs' mere presence as one of defendants' employees lacks constitutional import. End quote. As an initial matter, defendant's argument focuses narrowly on their termination of plaintiff, without addressing her allegations concerning defendant's pre- or post-termination conduct, much of which lacks any obvious expressive or artistic import. Defendant's affirmative defense is, for this reason alone, far from impenetrable. Following a lengthy deep dive into the specific case laws which factored into her decision, the Honorable Judge Garrett ultimately declared, quote, the court thus denies defendant's motion insofar as it argues that their right to control their speech bars plaintiffs' claims, end quote. In summary, defendants have failed to set forth an impenetrable defense under the First Amendment, she concluded. Accordingly, for the foregoing reasons, the court denies defendant's motion, end quote. With this ruling, it appears that barring a settlement between Disney and Carano, the latter's lawsuit is now on the path to a full-on court trial. Notably, not only does this spell trouble for Disney on a legal and reputational level, but it also opens him up to the process of discovery. In other words, in Mickey's closet could soon be seeing their first glimpse of sunlight in a very long time. I'd be scared too, Mick. That's a lot of legalese thrown in there. Let's jump over real quick to the New York Post, who has some added information. With the heading, Fired Mandalorian Actor Gina Carano Moved to Tears After Victory Against Disney in Her Elon Musk-Funded Lawsuit by Ariel Zilber. Gina Carano's lawsuit against the Walt Disney Company and its subsidiary, Lucasfilm, lives to see another day. A Los Angeles federal judge has denied Disney's motion to dismiss the lawsuit, which was filed by Carano after she was ousted from the Disney Plus Star Wars-linked streaming series The Mandalorian 3 years ago over social media posts comparing the political climate in the U.S. to the Holocaust. U.S. District Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett, as mentioned earlier, was appointed to the bench, rejected Disney's claim Wednesday that it had a, quote, right to disassociate its own artistic message from Carano's outspoken political beliefs, end quote. The Post has sought comment from Disney. Here we have a tweet from Gina on the day the judge rendered her decision. The court denies defendant's motion. I am moved to tears after a brutal 3.5 years. I am being given the opportunity to move forward in a court of law before the judge and my peers to clear my name. I am so grateful for this opportunity. What happened to me was unacceptable, absurd, and abusive, among other things. It should not have happened to me, and it should not happen to anyone else moving forward. Let it stop here. I quite literally fought to get to where I got to in my career, through intense ups and downs, and I'll keep up that fight to continue doing what I love. I appreciate all of you who stood by me and defended me, and I am so sorry that similar situations have happened to some of you. I want you to know that I see you and I stand with you. Thank you to Elon Musk, a man I have never even met, who so graciously gave me a fighting chance. Applause to Elon. Thank you for standing for justice for all of humanity. May God bless you and your family for years to come, because He has chosen you for such a time as this. Below is an interview I did with Ben Shapiro 3.5 years ago, February 2021, at my lowest point. I was wounded and in so much pain, but I feel that pain lifting now. I pray for justice to shine through this case. It's been one heck of a life. I am looking forward to getting back to the art of storytelling and doing my part to help the world heal. Thank you all. I'm sure it will be quite a battle ahead, but God's given me the ability to take some punches and give some back. My feet are on solid ground. Imagine what your voice can do.
You go, girl. You go, girl. You go, girl.
Carano is represented by attorneys who were hired by Elon Musk's social media company, X. In February 2021, Carano was fired from the cast of The Mandalorian after she sparked outrage, fake-ass bitch outrage, by the leftist mob.
How dare you?
Shut up!
On social media, where she denounced COVID lockdowns and claimed that conservatives were being persecuted, and she was right on both accounts. Carano fell under heavy criticism after she posted that, quote, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children, end quote. The actress continued to say, because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? End quote. And that's what she said here in this tweet at the time. Carano, who played the recurring character, Cara Dune, on a Star Wars series, deleted the post, but it was widely shared online and spurred the hashtag FireGinaCarano to trend. Her character appeared in several episodes of the second season of The Mandalorian, a series about a bounty hunter and his quest to unite a powerful young user of the Force with a Jedi Knight. Carano, a former mixed martial artist whose Doom character used a mix of heavy weapons and her fists to best opponents, had been criticized for social media posts that mocked mask wearing during the pandemic and alleged voter fraud during the 2020 presidential election. Gina had tweeted on X back in early February, "Today is an important day for me. I am filing a lawsuit against Lucasfilm and Disney. After my 20 years of building a career from scratch and during the regime of former Disney CEO Bob Chapek, Lucasfilm made this statement on Twitter terminating me from The Mandalorian. Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their culture and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable." And also, this comment from Woke Disney is full of shit, because she did not do that, in my opinion.
I guarantee.
She also mocked the use of gender pronouns, listing beep, bop, boop in her social media bio. Oh, the horror. Earlier this year, Carano wrote a lengthy post on X in which she praised Musk, the Tesla CEO, for his, quote, noble offer, end quote, to financially back her lawsuit. She wrote that, "Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought anyone would take on my case against Lucasfilm Disney. I would like to express my deepest gratitude and thank you to Elon Musk and X for giving me an opportunity to bring my case to light," Carano wrote. It seems apparent that her termination resulted from her social media posts, and she is likely to be able to prove that at trial. Rich Schoenstein, a trial attorney and partner with Manhattan-based law firm Tarter, Krinsky, and Drogan, told the Post. The bigger question is whether the trial court's decision on the law will survive on appeal, as this raises a fundamental issue about the rights of employees to make public statements that might not align with the position of their employers. And there you have it, folks. The end of these two articles. And as I want to do when the opportunity presents itself, we'll go over a few readers' comments. First up, from Cafe Racer, we have, "Let's hope this is another positive step against the tide of wokeism. Bud Light fiasco was another."
Hi, I got some Bud Lights for us.
As Elon Musk recently proclaimed, "We are making progress against woke mind virus, and I have ultimate faith in his ability to achieve results at whatever he puts his mind to." Hear, hear. Commander Riker replies, "Musk has risked everything on this. So has Trump. Sometimes it takes heroes to stand up against evil. That is what I see in 2024. JC in HB also replies, "Never underestimate the power of stupidity and the left's endless brainwashing of the masses. Look at Venezuela. They were the richest country in South America, now one of the poorest, 90% poverty rate." Next, we have Clyde Bank opining, "It is ironic that it seems that she was fired for having the belief that, quote, conservatives were being persecuted, end quote. In effect, Disney Lucasfilms proved a point. It should be noted that Lucasfilms was founded in Marin County, one of the wokest places in the world."
Really? Yep.
G. Tesso writes, quote, "A company has a right to free speech, just like individuals do," end quote. Disney CEO Bob Iger, April 14, 2023, on CNBC. So Bob, Disney has the right, but employees during their private time do not. Sounds undemocratic. Great point. Kenny Steele says, "She will lose the case. A private employer can do what it wants to an employee, unless the employee has a union contract. Making public comments is not protected, and she can be fired. Another reason to join a union."
Say what now?
Facts Matter replies to Kenny Steele, "Join a union and be forced to pay dues to promote radical left anti-Semitism? If you dissent from the message, the union will demand you be fired. California specifically has a law banning discrimination for political reasons, so you are wrong on the law."
Zorro snap in Z formation.
And Mac replies, "You're right in regards to Facts Matter's statement. Look it up. It's called the Public Policy Exception, which says that even private, at-will employers cannot fire employees for political activity or speech outside of the workplace. Looking forward to the trial. Agree, agree, agree. From Hannah, we have great going. Good job to her for standing up for what's right, and thank you, Elon. Well said. Now for a few quick comments from the first article from Bounding Into Comics. Angry Rodent says, nice to see Disney's appeal fail. It's a gray area when companies claim First Amendment rights over firing an employee, but in this case they chose the deserving side. There was absolutely nothing about Gina's statement that threatened Disney's earning potential, and they knew it.
You got that right.
They did indeed know it. You're exactly right. They just didn't like her comments because it was against their agenda and their narrative that they push and have been pushing for years now.
He ain't lying.
The familiar bunny with a keyboard replies, especially when they ignore so much from other employees when it's left wing.
Bingo!
You got that right. Like Pedro Pascal mentioned earlier in the article. Pat Gray C also replies, it was a BS motion and defense and they knew it. They were just hoping the judge would side with them because they usually do. Bunny with a keyboard makes her own post with, strong women are not woke and woke women are not strong.
I'm still hot though. Jeez! Jesus Christ.
Last but certainly not least, we have Super Skeleton with, Disney defamed her publicly. They claimed she denigrated people based on their culture and religious identities. She absolutely did not do that, just as I said a few minutes earlier. I guess cultural can be interpreted to mean anything, but religious means a specific thing, and she never denigrated anyone based on religion. They published a bold-faced lie that slandered her reputation and damaged her career. She may not win on the basis of wrongful termination, but she will win on the basis of defamation of character.
Spitting facts. It could change your life.
I certainly hope so, since it's incredibly obvious to any lawyer that she has an open and shut case on that basis. Disney will likely settle this lawsuit before it goes to trial, like they did with Scarlett Johansson. Well, folks, come to the end of this video. Now, if you agree with the flow of this article, with Gina Carano, with my comments, and the reader's comments, then please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you haven't, for shame.
Shame. Shame.
And be sure to tap that notification bell if you want to be forewarned whenever I'm ready to drop another video. And as always, stay safe and I bid you peace.
All right, now get out there and make me some goddamn money.
That's it, girls. No more Disney TV for a while.